This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Welcome to this week's episode of This is a Place podcast. My name is Nate, and with me is a guy who's a little frazzled after almost running a half marathon this past weekend. Brandon.
Yeah, I figured the best preparation for a half marathon is to basically just do a half marathon. Because that makes sense, right?
Yeah. So you ran basically 90% of a half marathon.
Is that how much it
I don't
factors
know
out
what's
to
the
me?
math. I can't remember how far you said you ran.
11.36. You were close. 86.71%.
Okay, so I rounded up. Did you not feel like, hey, I should at least just walk another mile?
No.
Or you just like,
In my mind, I know it doesn't make
Done.
sense, but in my mind, if I could do at least close to it, then I'll be able to do it when I'm on the big stage, doing it for real.
when the crowd's cheering you on.
Yeah, because I didn't want
And,
to come into it doing just like only running 6 miles or 8 miles or something. And then when I get to the actual race, I can't go the full distance.
Okay.
But if I can get close to the full distance, I know I can go just a little bit more.
Yeah. I always found that interesting. I can't say anything because I've never run a half marathon, a marathon. I've done a few 5Ks, and that's horrible. I just don't know why people run on purpose and pay for it. Makes no sense. So, but it's funny how people train for marathons, and like what you just did, they run basically 80% of a marathon in their training, and you're like, why not just, anyways, just
Why not just do
interesting.
it for free?
Yeah. It's like
I hear you.
training for play a basketball game, but you just go play 3/4 of a game and then
Well,
stop.
someone like me, I'm not in a position I'm trying to compete for anything. I'm not trying to take...
Yeah.
I can see
don't,
someone actually competing. It makes sense. You're going to do half marathons in preparation for the half marathon to then do the big thing.
well, if you're competing, you're not running half marathon, you're running the full marathon, right? So,
Right.
yeah. I mean, for sure. I don't think I've yet to meet somebody who's done a marathon or half marathon where they were doing it to compete. It's always doing it to finish, right?
Yeah.
That's their goal, just to do one and say that they did it. I guess maybe I know a few people who were trying to get good times in some marathons because they were trying to qualify for
Yeah, there you go.
bigger marathons, like the
New
Boston
York or
Marathon,
Boston.
right? But it's never their goal to win or like place in it. It's maybe just to get a good enough time to qualify. So props to everybody out there who thinks running is fun and does it on purpose. I have to play sports to trick myself into running. And I played, I think I told you a minute ago, but did the Memorial Day pickleball tournament in Brigham City, their annual tournament. And Saturday we started playing at 10:30 a.m. and didn't get done till 4:30 with maybe 3 minutes in between each match. So it was 6 hours straight. So it was kind of like a marathon of playing pickleball, if that counts. I looked like a lobster after we were done. So make sure you wear sunscreen, Brandon. I made that mistake because I thought in years past when I've been to the tournament, we've had a long break in between games, and I thought we'd have time to lather up and put some sunscreen on when the sun came out. But nah, I got a nice dose of skin cancer over the weekend.
I will hopefully be done before the sun's even out. It's kind of the...
Ooh,
Well,
that's a good thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
the sun will be out, but I'm hopeful.
What's your start time?
I think it's 5:55 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, should be done before the sun's really beaten down.
Yeah, good point. Well, good. Well,
But
good
you
for
know
you,
what?
Brandon.
Well, yeah, it's been a journey. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it next week. Give you more details and a recap of what happened, what place I took, all that good stuff. But
Yeah. And the exciting news is if you want to get a little sugar high or a little carb load before the night before, you can head to any of your local convenience store and get a free Frazil.
There you go. I'll probably have one before and after. I mean, the one
That's a good point.
before is like the free one, but then
You get one and then pay for the one.
you have to have a
It's almost
celebratory.
like a BOGO, right? You can
Yeah.
get one free. For those of you who are listeners of our podcast, if you go to any of your local Maverick, Holiday Oil, Extra Mile by Jackson, Terrible Herbs, what? And by Oil, Fabulous Freddy's, Fast Stop, Good to Go, Oasis Stop and Go, Speedy Mart, Top Stop, Fast Gas, or Hunsaker stores. I think for us here, it's going to be Maverick or Holiday Oil, right?
For the most part.
Yeah. On any Friday throughout June, you can get a 12-ounce Frazil for free.
As long as you mention
This is
this
a
is a
place
place podcast. No, I'm just kidding. We did reach out to Frazil to see if, well, I reached out to their social media to see if we could have them on for the podcast, and they did not respond for comment.
Which I understand. They're preparing all their stores to get ready for this big month of free Frazzles.
It's
Which-
quite a step up. I mean, we all know Slurpee has their 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
That's always happened. Is it still the case? Is it you get free Slurpees on that day? Isn't there a day also where you can fill up any container?
They
Is that-
do. I feel like they do. I did that a few months ago or a month ago. The free
Okay.
it has to fit inside this hole they have or whatever, but you can fill up any container for like $2 or something, $2-3. I can't remember.
Mhm.
It's a lot of Slurpee, and I kind of feel
You
like
could just take
this
a
is
gas can
Frazzles.
and fill it up with Slurpee.
Sure, if you want. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it fits in the. They have like a little circle, cut out cardboard circle, and it has to be able to fit in that hole they have. I think it's like a 10-inch hole that they cut out circle of. And I took, you know how like when you in Christmas time they'll have those popcorn canisters that have a couple popcorns inside of it. That's what I took. So it was like a pretty big can. Filled it up. It was a lot of. I mean, I didn't really do it because
You wanted it.
I wanted a Slurpee, or my kids want a Slurpee. It was more just the experience to do it.
Mm.
And then it just melted down and became like, what do you call it?
Nice sugary drink.
A really sugary punch drink with like hardly any fizz. So we just filled up a couple of our pitchers. The kids drank it for the next couple of days. Get some
Nice.
sugar rush. But it was fun. But like you said, on 7-Eleven, they used to do where you just go into the store and they had like cups at 7-Eleven. You get a free Slurpee.
And it's just a one day too.
Yeah, the one day. And so in theory, you could go to like all the 7-Elevens in the valley and get a free Slurpee if you wanted to do that.
What date do they usually do that?
7-Eleven, July 11th.
July 11th.
But I think now, if I'm not mistaken, you have to have the app to get your free
And
Slurpee
it's where you can do it the whole month. It doesn't have to be on the
on
11th.
that day. Maybe you're right.
Which is probably
So,
smart so that it's
yeah.
not constantly
That and
all
you don't
day.
get that all day, and you don't get people going to 50 different 7-Elevens
Yeah.
and getting 1,000 Slurpees. So, I was gonna say, I think this is what Frazzle's doing, is to kind of be a competitor to the free Slurpee day. They're doing this instead.
I don't think it's really a competition. I think this is way better than what 7-Eleven does, in my opinion.
Well, it's better, yeah.
You
So
got-
they win. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's what Frazzle's doing is better because there is 5 Fridays in June. So that's 5 free Frazzles you can get. And in theory, I guess you could hop around to different gas stations throughout the day.
There's no app. There's no way to track it, right?
Yeah. This might
Unless
be a
it's-
downfall of Frazzle. Actually, this might bankrupt them.
Yeah. So you might. I wonder. It's gonna be interesting to see if you have to get there early, because it takes a minute for if you pour the syrup into those machines for it to freeze up.
Right.
So we'll have to see how it goes. And a lot of the stores, even like the Mavericks, they may have like 2 flavors, right?
Well, Yeah,
depending on the Maverick.
I'd say most have
3?
at least 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Holiday by my house they've upped their game. They have probably 6 or 7 machines now.
Oh, wow.
Just depends on where you go. But yeah, it does take a minute for the syrup to freeze back up, but I think they can, as long as the machines are working, they can probably handle the volume.
Well, speaking of holiday oil, I've told this before, but I used to work for Orange Bank. It was a distributing company called Bick and Sons, and holiday oil was one of their accounts. But prior to Frazil, the same type machine, we used to deliver the product to them. And so we used to be the ones who has to fix the machines and all that stuff when they break down. And I'll tell you one funny story about us picking up the product to take to our warehouse to distribute to the holiday oils. I believe the company was called Miller Honey, and they're like on 33rd South and near the freeway. We took our boss's Dodge Ram to go pick up a pallet, and it was a pretty tall pallet. It was like 6 feet, maybe 7 feet tall, of just boxes of the syrup to make the product. And you know how they like shrink wrap it, the pallets?
Mm-hmm.
The people didn't really shrink wrap it that well. And we put it in the truck, and we didn't really tight down either. And we're driving back to about 90th South in the freeway to take it to the warehouse. And as we're getting on the 33rd South ramp on-ramp, my friend was driving, the pallet tipped, or the top of the boxes tipped, and just spilled all over the on-ramp. We laughed our heads off. And then my buddy even texted me later saying, did you hear about the swarm of bees on 33rd South on-ramp?
Wonder why.
Joking. Yeah, it made a mess.
That sounds messy.
Yeah, so every time I'm getting off 33rd South, that's all I think about is when we spilled probably good 30, 40 gallons of slushy syrup on the on-ramp.
Were you in trouble?
Not that I remember. We just picked it up and threw away what we could, and then let Mother Nature wash it away, I guess. That was good times. But that was probably 2 or 3 years before. I don't know what happened, but sounds like Frazil kind of took over those machines and that side of the business.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to, we could talk about them, get free advertising, whatever, but I wanted to speak with them just to kind of hear about how it started, where the company came from, and that kind of stuff. Because there's not a lot of information about it. I know that they're owned by Freezing Point, I think is what it's called. I think it's out in Draper.
You want me to tell you what I know about it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it was Utah-born. They were founded in 2004 as a side business project to a successful shaved ice business. The founders honed in on the flavor profiles that were most appealing, and at the same time realized that flavorful frozen drink could be a convenient year-round delight. The drinks are delicious, but one of the most interesting aspects of Frazil is the business model that the parent company, Freezing Point, that you just mentioned, built. Convenience store owners welcomed Frazil machines into their stores, and as it happens, eventually something would go wrong, right? So this is where we would go fix the machines. Mm-hmm. But it says whether it was a user error or wear and tear, the machine would sit until a Frazil technician could come and check it out. This was vexing, not only because consumers weren't able to buy their favorite slushy drink, but because at the time Frazil offered machine maintenance as a free service for having the machine in the store. It happened more often than it should, so the Frazil team got to work. The people at Frazil came up with a unique proprietary technology that changed the way Frazil machines operated. If a convenience store had a Frazil machine break down or have an issue, a piece of tech attached to the machine would send a signal to Frazil, who in turn would send out a technician to fix it. So no need for the store owner to hassle with it. The message is sent and the problem is solved. So basically they had technology put on the machines, so wherever it breaks down, they got a work order to go fix it, or they could problem shoot it. So a little different than the days. But there's so many times, because we deliver the product to Holiday Oil along with the Orange Bang, and you go into their store and the machine, who knows how long the the whole week. The machine could have been down because
Right.
they would just wait for us to bring the product and then fix it while we're there. So that's kind of cool. Because I mean, I don't really see when I go to a convenience store a Frazil machine not working. Do you? Oh, they're always working.
No, I mean, if I go to 7-Eleven, there's a 80% chance one of the spots is broken or the product isn't ready, right?
Yeah.
But if you go to a Frazzle machine, I've never had it, aside from it just being out.
At a product.
Yeah, out of product, but other than that, I've never had any issues. If there's something in it, then you can get something out of it.
Yeah.
And it's not a consistency that I think is too difficult to where it takes too long to set up.
No.
It's more of a drink
Right.
type
But
of
it still
consistency.
has to freeze.
Yeah, it has
So
to
it's not
freeze,
like,
but it can survive as a drink. Like,
oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, really all it is just syrup, frozen syrup,
Mhm.
where, what do you call it? Slurpee is just frozen soda.
Yeah.
And then this is just like a frozen shaved ice. Like if you took this water and the shaved ice syrup that you get and put it together and then freeze it, boom. But I
Right.
like the Frazzle aspect compared to shaved ice because the ice is also part of the syrup. So it's like you don't get that watered down icy shaved ice stuff. It's all delicious. But
Yeah, and I
you
mean,
mentioned that you've seen it outside of Utah. So
yeah, I mean, I
when I
even
can
saw it
see
in
there,
California.
I don't see it says they're in Utah, Idaho, and Nevada. So maybe you got it in Nevada on the way to
It
California.
might have been on the border
So,
of California and Nevada.
but sounds like they're doing pretty well. 20 years into the biz.
But it's nice you can find on their app if there's a certain flavor that you want.
Oh,
On
really?
the app, it'll tell you where they have that flavor. Because
Oh.
I think I introduced you to my favorite flavor, the lemon berry, I think is what it is. That's my favorite flavor, and it was so hard for me to find it, but then I found here on the website the places that had that in stock. So
I did
that's
not
pretty
know
nice.
I didn't know they had a website and or app or whatever. You could look it up.
No app that I'm aware of, but they do have
A website.
a website that
Okay.
gives you all their flavors. And actually, as I'm looking on it, I mean, I do follow them on social media, so I see they post a lot of memes, pretty funny stuff, all related to Frazzle. They even had a couple of years ago, they asked everybody what flavor they like to see. And they took each of the flavors and made a mock-up of what it would look like.
Oh, if they did the fan favorites or
Right.
fan recipes, or you want to call it.
Yep, so they had corn dog, money, Pop-Tart, fried chicken, just all these funny flavors, which obviously they're not going to do, but they do have quite a selection of flavors, and of course it depends on which store you're going to, what they're going to have. But yeah, I'd see usually at Maverick and Holiday they have at least 3 or 4, and they've got some kind of funny explanations of the flavors on the website too. Maybe I'll just read a couple of those real fast. And just go through the flavors. So, what flavors do they have?
Well, I feel like almost every store you go to is going to have tiger's blood, right?
Yeah, I mean that's number one slushy.
That's
I
like
mean, number
going
one,
to
snow
that's like
cone.
going to a store to get a soda and them not having Coke or Pepsi. Like that's the staple, right?
Yeah. Yeah, tiger's blood. You got the mango, blue razzmatazz, which is one of my favorites. Georgia peach, green apple, lemon ice, tangerango,
Tangerine.
tangerango, I think.
Mm.
What about horchata? Have you had that one?
Horchata Frazzle?
Yeah,
Interesting. No,
right here.
I saw horchata like Slurpee the other day.
Gonna have to go give it a shot. Lemon berry, as I mentioned, my favorite. Hog, berry cherry, root beer float, wild berry, Bermuda triangle, rock and roll, and now they have energy frazzles. They had two at the holiday by me, but I'm not an energy drink caffeine guy, so I didn't go for them. But they've got a Limonade Energy, Smashberry Energy, Pina Colada Energy, and I'm actually would be interested to try this one, the Orange Cream Energy.
Ooh, we got some flavors to try
Quite a
on Fridays.
selection. So, as I mentioned, they've got some descriptions on the flavors. I think a couple of them are pretty funny. The Tiger's Blood one I'll read. It says this is our most dangerous and controversial flavor. It's been banned in 7 countries due to its mysterious origin. In fact, the name Tiger's Blood literally means blood of a tiger. However, we can assure you that no tigers are harmed or drained of any blood in the creation of Tiger's Blood, but we can't guarantee that drinking a Tiger's Blood Frazil will not make you fierce like a tiger or striped like a tiger or purr like a furry new tiger. Be bold like a tiger or tigress. We want to hear you roar. Another one of my favorites is the peach. It says, ready for a southern brew that's sweeter than Daisy Duke sipping an ice-cold lemonade on a hot, tar-bubbling afternoon? And look no further than our own Southern Belle. With sweet peach and a splash of strawberry, you won't find a happier drink anywhere. So if you're feeling a little bit on the southern side, pull up a porch swing, grab a fly swatter, and pour some smooth slushy down your throat. It's guaranteed to put a smile on your face.
Guaranteed.
We got to read the horchata one, you know? Because you're Mr. Horchata yourself.
Yes.
Frazil has perfected its own version of this crowd favorite drink with the perfect blend of cinnamon, vanilla, rice, and other secret ingredients your abuela uses in making her own secret horchata recipe. The flavor packs a punch more aggressive than your overage cousin swinging at a piñata at your birthday party, bringing it crashing down before the other 15 kids can even have a swing at it. Thanks, Daniel. And you get all the creaminess without any dairy added. So get ready for a fiesta in your mouth with this new addition to the Frazil lineup. And they have a description like that for most of their flavors. So if you want to read the rest of them, I'd venture on over to the website. This, I think, is a recommendation section, kind of going along with the trend of mixed drinks and things like that. But they have a whole section dedicated to, it says, a mixing menu. I think you just have to mix them yourself. I've never done that before, and I'm surprised I haven't. But this is something I might actually try. I don't think I would ever be able to get it to look as good as they do in the pictures. Kind of perfectly swirled with some on top, some in the middle. But I think it sounds like a fun idea.
But you should give it a try.
I'm going to have to. I mean, I've got it. 5 free ones to give it a shot with, you know?
5 opportunities.
At least.
5 shots. And send us a picture how yours looks.
It's not going to look good, but I'll tell you, it probably will taste good.
Well, I had to do that the other day with the Slurpee because the machine, when you're filling up that much, would run out. Not run out, or like, say it turned into basically water.
Yeah.
Liquid. So we just mixed all we could just to fill the dumb thing. So it was a cocktail for sure by the time it was done and all melted.
I introduced my daughter recently to the fact that you can mix drinks like Slurpee. You can mix different Slurpee flavors, and she thought that was the coolest thing.
Oh, yeah. Do you mix your sodas if you go to a fountain?
Not usually. When I was 8, I would do that.
My uncle always did. I remember that. Like, what are you doing? Like I liked like lemon, lemon Diet Coke. Yeah. So I'd put Diet Coke and a little bit of lemonade to make it that way. So, but I don't. I mean, I know that's the fad right now. We've talked about it before, with all the swigs and whatnot. But
you know, it's not even. They don't usually mix sodas though.
That's true.
It's usually you have the base soda and then you put other things in it. But
good point.
If you're mixing sodas, it's kind of a dangerous game.
Yeah. Can be.
And you can always do the suicide, right? Can you still call it that?
I don't know. I was thinking when you're saying Tiger's Blood, isn't that what Tiger's Blood originally started out being?
I don't know.
Is that where it came from? But where you just mixed everything and then.
I mean, that sounds right to me. But yeah, you mix everything together. That's dangerous. That's a dangerous game.
Yeah, but when you're mixing sugar with sugar, sometimes it's not too dangerous compared to other foods.
Yeah, that's true. It all goes to the same place anyway.
Right. It's all sugar at the end of the day. Yeah, but I might have to change my no eat days for June to make sure I can get my free Frazzles on Friday.
I mean, it's basically just water. So,
There's like hardly any calories.
yeah, they're very low calories. Basically zero. You actually burn calories because it's so cold.
There you go.
It burns them as it goes down. While we're on the topic, do you know what the scientific term is for a brain freeze?
Ouch.
I can't even say it. I played it for you a little bit earlier, but this, just in case you're wondering, this is the scientific term.
Sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia.
Say what?
That is scientific term for brain freeze, which is good to know because all of you will be getting those all the month of June.
When I drink a Frazzle almost every time, it's not, I guess it's probably the same thing as brain freeze, but I feel like the right side of my throat freezes up and it's like somebody's punching. It hurts so bad. So it's not like my brain hurts. It's like my throat just like freezes up and it's just like one side of my throat. Do you ever have that problem or is it just me?
I drink a lot of Frazzles, so I get it all.
You do.
I get the chest freeze too.
Oh, just hurts.
That's a bad one. But yeah, the throat freeze.
It's like if we knew like you had to walk into a room and someone's going to hit you really hard in the shoulder, we wouldn't do it. But we know we'll be in pain drinking these Frazzles and we do it anyway.
Do it anyway. It's very dangerous for me to drink a Frazzle while I'm driving because inevitably I'm going to have some kind of brain freeze and I don't like it and I lose my mind when it happens. So yeah, I wouldn't advise drinking Frazzle while driving, while operating heavy machinery.
Right. It'd be painful.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out. Try some new flavors, some new mixes. Lots of fun things to try in this month of June. And I think the thing will be interesting is to see how stocked and how crazy it goes. Because I've been seeing ads nonstop for this, so I'm sure.
I know. Yeah, I think the first ad I saw it was on a Friday, and I was coming home from Provo, and I saw it's one of those billboards that has different advertisements, the big TV ones, you know. And I just saw free Frazzle Friday, and I was like, "Oh, is that today? Like, what's?" I didn't know. So I mean, they've been advertising for a while, so I thought it was like that day, and I was gonna miss it. And then I Googled it, and I'm like, "Oh, it's not till June." I didn't miss it.
Yeah. So here's your PSA. Get ready, because it starts this week at all participating locations, and just make sure you mention the podcast. It's not going to determine whether you get it or not, but just mention us anyway.
And send us your pictures of you getting your free Frazzle.
Yeah, send us your
and what
Frazzle
flavors
pictures.
are the best. Tell us where we need to go. Well, I don't think you have to tell us where to go because we'll go to the website. But
right.
tell us what flavor is the best, and then we'll find it near us.
Yeah, what's your favorite mix? Tell us that.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite cocktail Frazzle?
Yeah.
Well, do you think we've frazzled our listeners enough?
Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
And this was something we just talked about. See you next week.